everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about an incredibly important concept in machine learning, dimensionality reduction, specifically through principal component analysis, also known as PCA. These techniques help simplify data with too many features or dimensions. Let's start with a quick roadmap of what we will be covering in this video to understand PCA fully. First, why do we need dimensionality reduction? Second, what is PCA? Third, important terminologies. Here we will go over some key terms like principal components, covariance matrix, and eigenvalues to get a solid foundation. Next, we will discuss PCA characteristics like a linear transformation, how it maximizes variance, and more. Fifth, step-by-step PCA process from standardizing data to transforming it into the principal component space. Sixth, example walkthrough with visuals. Seventh, benefits and limitations of PCA. Eighth, real-world use cases of PCA. And finally, PCA implementation in Python. Let's first understand why dimensionality reduction is even necessary. Let's dive in. Okay, so why do we need dimensionality reduction? Dimensionality reduction is all about reducing the number of input variables or features in your dataset while still retaining the important information. But why would you want to do that? Imagine you are working on a dataset with hundreds or even thousands of features. High dimensional datasets can lead to a few problems. That is, first, overfitting. More features can cause your model to fit too closely to the training data, leading to poor generalization. Second, increased computational cost. The more features you have, the more time and resources your model needs to train. Third, the curse of dimensionality. As the number of dimensions increases, the data becomes sparse, making it harder for models to learn. Dimensionality reduction solves these issues by simplifying the dataset without losing valuable information. And one of the most powerful techniques for this is principal component analysis, that is PCA. So, what exactly is PCA? Principal component analysis is a mathematical technique used to reduce the dimensionality of a dataset by transforming it into a new set of variables called principal components. These components captures the most important patterns and variations in the data, but in fewer dimensions. PC doesn't just throw away data, it tries to keep as much information as possible while reducing complexity. Think of it as compressing a file without losing important detail. Before we dive deeper into how PCA works, let's quickly go over some important terminologies you will need to know. First, principal components, known as PCs. These are new features that PCA creates from your original data. They represent directions in which the data varies the most. Second, covariance matrix. These matrix tells us how different features in your data are related to each other. It's the backbone of PCA. Third, eigenvectors and eigenvalues. These come from the covariance matrix and help identify the directions of maximum variance, that is eigenvector, and the amount of variance in those directions, that is eigenvalue. Fourth, explain variance. These tells you how much of the total variance is captured by each principal component. Now that we know the terminologies, let's highlight some important properties of PCA. First, linear transformation. PCA is a linear algorithm, meaning it works best when relationships between variables are linear. Second, unsupervised learning. PCA is an unsupervised learning technique. It doesn't depend on the target variable but only on the input features. Third, maximizes variance. PCA identifies the direction where data varies the most and keeps only those directions with the highest variance. Fourth, orthogonal components. The principal components are orthogonal, meaning they are uncorrelated with each other. Now, let's break down how PCA actually works in 5 simple steps. Step 1. Standardize the data. Since PCA is sensitive to the scale of features, the first step is to standardize or normalize the data so that all features are on the same scale. Mathematically, standardization means transforming each feature so that its mean is 0 and its standard deviation is 1. Here's the formula of standardization, where x is the original data value, mu is the mean of the feature, and sigma is the standard deviation of the feature. Step number 2. Compute the covariance matrix. These matrix helps us understand how the different features of the dataset vary with each other or correlate with each other. For two variables x and y, the covariance is calculated by using this formula, where xi and yi are individual observations, xy and ybar are the mean, and n is the number of data points. Step number 3. Calculate eigenvalues and eigenvectors. From the covariance matrix, we calculate eigenvectors and their corresponding eigenvalues. Eigenvectors determine the direction of the new feature space, that is, principal components. Eigenvalues represent the magnitude of variance in each eigenvector direction. The eigenvector with the highest eigenvalue is the first principal component, known as PC1, which captures the largest variance in the data. The second eigenvector, orthogonal to the first, becomes the second principal component, known as PC2, and so on. Step number 4. Select the principal components. We rank the eigenvectors based on their eigenvalues and select the top components that explain most of the variance. Usually, the first few components account for the majority of the variation in the data. For example, suppose you are working with datasets that have 13 features. However, 13 features can be difficult to visualize and analyze. This is where PC comes in to reduce the dimensionality while retaining the essential information. Suppose PC1 explained 40% of the variance, PC2 explained 25% of the variance, PC3 explained 15% of the variance. In this case, PC1 and PC2 captures 65% of the total variance. If you decide that's enough information, you can reduce the dataset from 13 features to just two principal components. Step number 5. Transform the data. Finally, we transform the original data into a new dataset based on these principal components. This gives us a lower dimensional dataset while retaining most of the important information. Once you have selected your principal components, you project your original data onto this new lower dimensional space. This is done by multiplying the original data matrix by the eigenvectors corresponding to the chosen principal components. Since you have reduced your dataset from 13 dimensional to 2, you can now plot in a 2D space using PC1 and PC2. This helps visualize the relationship in a similar and more meaningful way. So, this is how PCA works. Now, understanding PCA step by step through an example in visualized way. Let's start with the raw data. Here, we are plotting two features from a dataset in a 2D space. These data points represent the original features before any transformation. Next, we standardize the data. After standardization, both features have been scaled to have a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. This ensures that no feature dominates the other due to its scale, making the data easier to analyze. Now, let's apply PCA. After PCA is fitted, we can visualize the two principal components PC1 and PC2 as vectors overlaid on the data. PC1 represents the direction where the data varies the most, while PC2 is perpendicular to it, capturing the second most variance. In the next step, the data points are projected onto the first principal component, that is PC1. You can see the projection lines showing how the original 2D points are transformed onto a 1D axis along PC1. Finally, the data is represented in the new PCA space using PC1 and PC2. In this example, we are still working in 2D, but PCA helps reduce the dimensionality when there are many features in a dataset. It transforms the data into a lower dimensional space while preserving the most important information. Now, let's see how PCA is such a popular dimensionality reduction technique. First, it reduces overfitting. By lowering the number of features, PCA helps model avoid overfitting, focusing on the most important data patterns. Second, improves model efficiency. With few dimension, models train faster and may perform better, especially when redundant features are removed. Third, data compression. PCA compress data, retaining key information while reducing storage and processing requirement. Fourth, simplifies visualization. PCA reduces high dimensional data to 2 or 3 dimensional, making it easier to visualize and analyze. Fifth, removes multicollinearity. PCA combines correlated feature, reducing multicollinearity and improving model performance. Sixth, improves clustering. PCA enhances the performance of clustering algorithms like k-means by simplifying data before clustering. While principal component analysis (PCA) is a powerful tool for dimensionality reduction, it does have some limitations you should be aware of. First, linear assumptions. PCA only captures linear relationship between features. If your data contains non-linear patterns, PCA may not perform well. In such cases, other techniques like kernel PCA or TSNE might be better. Second, loss of interpretability. While PCA reduces dimensions, the new principal components are often difficult to interpret. Unlike original features like age or income, the components don't have any direct real-world meaning. Third, sensitivity to scaling. PCA is sensitive to the relative scaling of the data. You must standardize or normalize your features before applying PCA, or it may produce misleading results. Fourth, loss of variance. If you reduce the number of components too aggressively, you can lose important variance. While PCA tries to retain as much information as possible, it may still discard valuable insights. Fifth, impact of outliers. PCA is sensitive to outliers, which can skew the principal components. If your data contains outliers, they could have an undue influence on the directions of maximum variance. Sixth, requires all data to be numerical. PCA can only apply to numerical data. If your dataset contains categorical features, you need to encode them appropriately before using PCA. Now, let's talk about where PCA really shines. PCA has a wide range of application across different fields. First, image compression. PCA is widely used to reduce the dimensionality of image data. High resolution images have thousands or even millions of pixels features. PCA can reduce the number of dimensions while still maintaining the important features of the image. This is especially useful in applications like facial recognition. Second, data visualization. When dealing with high dimensional data, visualizing it in 2D or 3D can be difficult. PCA helps by reducing the data to or three principal components, making it easier to plot and analyze trends. Third, finance. In stock market analysis, PCA can reduce the number of correlated variables like different stock prices and help identify the main factors driving market movement. These can assist in risk management, portfolio optimization, and pricing models. Fourth, natural language processing, known as NLP. PCA is often used in topic modeling or reducing the dimensionality of large document term matrices, where each document is represented as a vector of word count or term frequencies. Fifth, recommendation system. PCA can be used in collaborative filtering systems to reduce the dimensionality of user item interaction data. To reduce the dimensionality of user item interaction data, it helps to identify latent factors that explain user preferences, making recommendations more efficient. Now, let's see how to implement PCA in Python using the scikit-learn library. It's super easy and only require a few lines of code. First, we will load the dataset, then standardize the data, next apply PCA, then plot the component, and at last print the variance explained by each principal component to understand their contribution to the data's total variance. So let's open Colab, we will do it together. So let's start by importing the libraries we will need for this analysis. We are using one dataset. Let's run this. Okay, it's done. Now load the dataset. This dataset contains features about different samples of wine. Okay, now let's take a quick look on number of features that we have in this dataset. So which help us to confirm number of dimensions before applying PCA. So we have total number of features as 13. Now we will reduce these features to 2. First we will do standardization using standard scaler. Since PCA is sensitive to scaling, run this. Now each feature has mean 0 and standard deviation as 1. Now let's apply PCA. Number of components here we will set as 2 as we want to reduce it into to just 2 principal component. Fit this. Okay, to visualize the result, I will create scatter plot of our first 2 principal component. Represent all the values in our PC1 which will show in x-axis, and all the values of PC2, which will come in our y-axis. Giving color. Then giving X label. Adding Y label. Adding title. Now let's run this. Okay, so you can see PCA on Wine dataset in visualized way. Finally, let's print our explained variance ratio to see how much of our original data's variance each species represent. So print. Okay. So here you can see our first PCA1 represents 36% of total variance and second represents 19%, 19.2% to be precise, which will total give us as 55.4%, meaning over half of original data set is preserved even after reducing it into two dimensions. And there you have it. Principal component analysis is a powerful technique that helps simplify complex data sets, making it easier to train models without losing important information. It's particularly useful when you have too many features and want to avoid the curse of dimensionality. If you found this video helpful, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such content related to machine learning and data science. And I will see you in the next video.